Hey guys, here we go. So we are on to part 2 of the NBA playoff nostalgia series from the 2000 NBA playoffs. We did round 1, all the great games that took place, the point differentials, the matchups. Make sure, video will be linked at the end of this one. Make sure to go back and watch that one. Today, round 2, round 3, and the NBA finals. Here we go. All right, guys, here we go. So let's recap real fast. I had a couple people ask after the Nostalgia Series Part 1 what the controversy was. So most everyone knows about the controversy in 2002. Tim Donaghy, multiple players, like it has been official that Game 6 of that Western Conference Finals was completely rigged for the Lakers to win it. Completely rigged. There has been multiple speculation reports, multiple things ever since then, that it also took place in the 2000 playoffs when they were the number 1 seed going against Sacramento in that Game 5. So that's the controversy. It actually happened, most believe, 2 years out of the 3 championships that the Lakers had. 2 of those years they were helped by dirty refs. And yes, it had happened consistently, but it was mostly out west and often involved the Lakers. Now, I do want to be very clear. The Lakers were an amazing team, so please do not think I am taking anything away from Phil Jackson, Shaq, Kobe, not taking away anything from that. But the reality is, it has to be acknowledged, it wasn't 100% legit. And that's the unfortunate part of what was going on back then. But to quickly recap, we went through the first round, quickly go through the matchups. Indiana knocked out Milwaukee 3-2. Philadelphia knocked out Charlotte 3-1. The Knicks swept the Raptors. Miami swept Detroit. Then in the Western Conference, you had the Lakers win 3-2 over Sacramento. Phoenix beat the Spurs 3-1. Portland beat Minnesota 3-1, and the Utah Jazz had a thrilling series against the Seattle Sonics, and they won 3-2. So our matchups heading into the second round is Indiana versus Philadelphia, the Knicks versus the Heat, Lakers versus the Suns, and Blazers versus the Jazz. And that is exactly where we are going to start at. Round number 2, opening up with the Indiana Pacers and the Philadelphia 76ers. This series actually could have been a sweep if it wasn't for some really good gameplay by the Philadelphia 76ers. So at the time, it was Conseco Fieldhouse, and this was on NBC game number 1. The Pacers took 108-91. Jalen Rose and Reggie Miller both go for 40 points. Austin Crozier has 11 rebounds. Mark Jackson with 10 assists. For the Sixers, Allen Iverson had 28 points. George Lynch, 14 rebounds, and Eric Snow threw in 7 assists. Game number 2, 103-97 Indiana Pacers. Rose had 30 points, 7 rebounds, and Mark Jackson had 14 assists. Allen Iverson came in with a double-double, 28 points, 10 assists, and Tyrone Hill had the rebounds at 8 rebounds. Game number 3 in Philadelphia. Pacers beat the Sixers 97-89. Miller had 29 points, Dale Davis 17 boards, Mark Jackson 8 assists. Allen Iverson led the Sixers with 29 points, Tyrone Hill 14 rebounds again, and Tony Kukoc had 4 assists to lead the team. That's normally a problem. Now, this is where it really, the end of the game, 92-90, okay? 92-90 in game number 4, Philadelphia over the Indiana Pacers. How this really went down was the Sixers jumped out to a 33-18 lead in the first quarter and then just lost it quarter by quarter. The Pacers actually outscored them by 6 points in the fourth quarter to get it down to where it was, and ended up being a 2-point victory by the Sixers. Iverson with 19 points, Hill with 15 rebounds. Tyrone Hill was a beast on the boards. Allen Iverson had 5 assists. For the Pacers, Rick Smits led the scoring, 20 points, 11 rebounds for Dale Davis, and 7 assists for Mark Jackson. Game number 4, back here. Pacers absolutely just lost it all. Got smoked, 107-86. They got outscored by 13 in the first quarter, 10 in the second quarter. Philadelphia was on target. Allen Iverson put up 37 points. Tyrone Hill and Aaron McKie with 10 rebounds each. Aaron McKie also threw in 9 assists. Once again for the Pacers, the leading scorer. In a losing effort, Rick Smits. See a tendency happening here? Dale Davis 8 rebounds, and Jackson and Rose had 6 assists each. Then came down game 4. Larry Bird told his guys that's it. They got out to a huge 12-point lead. It was down to 3 at halftime, but then outscored the Sixers by 13 in the third quarter, and that was way too big for the Sixers to come back. They win 106-90, taking the Sixers out of the playoffs with the 4-2 series win. Reggie leads this team in scoring with 25, Dale Davis with 11 rebounds, Mark Jackson with 11 assists, and Aaron McKie had 19 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists for the Philadelphia 76ers. So series number 1 in the round 2 goes to Indiana, 4-2, beating the 76ers. Now the New York Knicks and Miami Heat. Now I absolutely remember how this series played out. It was chippy, and this was a heck of a series. Wait till you hear the over-under on the points. So this is the number 2 seed Miami Heat, the number 3 seed New York Knicks. Opening up in Miami, Miami takes a lead 1-0. They win the opening game, 87-83. They were tied at the end of the third quarter, outscored the Knicks by 4 in the fourth quarter, and that's how they win. Alonzo Mourning with 26 points, P.J. Brown with 16 rebounds, Tim Hardaway 7 assists. Allen Houston with 21 points, Marcus Camby 13 boards, Chris Childs with 6 assists. Game number 2, outrageously close again. This time the Knicks come out on top, 82-76. Jamal Mashburn with 25 points. Alonzo Mourning had 17 rebounds. Patrick Ewing and Charlie Ward both had 13 points. Ewing and Johnson had 8 rebounds, and Latrell Sprewell led the team with 5 assists. Then we get to Game 3, Madison Square Garden. Game 3 goes to overtime. The Miami Heat win in overtime, 77-76. That is 4 quarters plus an overtime, 77-76. Alonzo Mourning had 23 points, P.J. Brown with 12 rebounds, Anthony Carter with 8 assists. For the Knickerbockers, Houston with 24, Ewing with 9, and Charlie Ward with 4 assists. So the series is now 2-1 Miami. Well, not for long. It is then 2-2 as the Knicks come out victorious in game number 4, 91-83. Charlie Ward with 20 points leading the way, Ewing with 11 rebounds, and Latrell Sprewell with 6 assists. On the other side, Alonzo Mourning would have a huge double-double, 27 points, 14 rebounds, and Anthony Carter would lead the team with 7 assists. So here we go. We are now back tied to to 2. So now it's a best of 3 series. And we know how this normally works. Well, guess what? It did mostly. So the next game, Miami wins it 87-81. 87-81. Jamal Mashburn, 21 points, 12 boards for P.J. Brown. Anthony Carter, again, leading with 5 assists. On the other side, Latrell Sprewell, 24 points, 6 assists. Patrick Ewing leading the way with 11 rebounds. So now it is 3-2, heading back to Madison Square Garden. Can the Heat close them out? No. In fact, they got outscored by 7 points in the fourth quarter and lose 72-70. The Knicks hold on. Patrick Ewing had 18 rebounds in this game. Alonzo Mourning had a double-double with 22 points, 10 rebounds. Dan Marley had 10 points and 7 assists. Allen Houston had 21 points. Charlie Ward with 4 assists. This is what you love. This is basketball you love. This is basketball you love. It is now 3-3 heading back to Miami. Series on the line. And here we go. New York Knickerbockers, Miami Heat. They go into the fourth quarter tied. The Heat had a huge first quarter. The Knicks had a huge second quarter. The Heat won the third quarter. Got the game tied. Who's going to win the fourth? It is fourth quarter, game 7. Everything's on the line. It's win or go home. And Patrick Ewing makes the winning dunk with 1:21 left in the game. The New York Knicks take the lead 83-82, and that is how the game ends right there. Alonzo Mourning, 29 points, 13 rebounds, another double-double in a losing effort. Latrell Sprewell, 24 points, Marcus Camby, 12 rebounds, and then Latrell had 5 assists as well. This was an epic series. It had fights. It was chippy. It was a dang good series. That was amazing basketball to watch. It was tough. They always cared, and you could tell. You could tell they cared. Then you get to the Western Conference semifinals. This one, unfortunately, the Lakers would win 4-1. The Suns did not have enough. They did not have enough size. They did not have enough to be able to fight with the Lakers. Game number 1 got smoked, 105-77. Shaquille O'Neal with 37 points, 14 rebounds. Penny Hardaway led the way with 25 points, and Jason Kidd had 7 rebounds and 7 assists. Now, game number 2, a lot closer. The Lakers won 97-96. Shaquille O'Neal, 38 points, 20 rebounds. Clifford Robinson on the other side, 30 points. Penny Hardaway with 8 assists. And Shawn Marion came in with 9 rebounds. Game number 3, closer again, 105-99. Shaquille O'Neal, 37 points, 17 rebounds. Penny Hardaway had 31 points. Jason Kidd threw in 12 assists. Clifford Robinson had 9 rebounds. Now, game number 4, closeout game in Phoenix, and the Suns were not having it. Jason Kidd has a double-double. Actually, I think he had a triple-double here. Hang on. I think he actually had a triple-double. He had 10 rebounds. He had 16 assists. And then, let's see. Let's see, where'd he go? Yes, he did. He had a triple-double. 22 points, 16 assists, 10 rebounds, 2 steals as well. Penny Hardaway had 16 points, 6 assists, and then Cliff Robinson had 32 points, 9 rebounds. Rodney Rogers off the bench had 17 points. This is a game that, it just kind of went off the rails for everybody else. Just kind of went off the rails. Shaquille O'Neal held to 24 points. Kobe Bryant held to 23. And the Suns win that game 117-98. Heading back to LA for game 5, though. And this game wasn't even close. And by not even close, I mean wasn't close. It was 21-14 after the first quarter in favor of the Lakers. Then the Lakers outscored the Suns 28-9 in the second quarter. 28-9. And that was it. They beat them by 22. Todd Day actually led scoring for the Suns with 10 points. Kobe Bryant had 17 points. Shaquille O'Neal with 21 rebounds. Kobe Bryant hits the game winner in Game 2, the 97-96 game with 2.6 seconds left. I remember that one. I do remember that one. That was on TNT. There was there were a lot of good shots in these playoffs. Now, go down to the other series, which was the Portland Trail Blazers against a team that was very accustomed to this. Very accustomed. The Utah Jazz. Well, this game followed suit. Or this series followed suit. Both Western Conference series actually followed kind of the same MO. Blazers game number 1 smoked the Jazz 94-75. Scottie Pippen had 20 points. Arvydas Sabonis 14 rebounds. Karl Malone had 22 points, 8 boards. Game number 2, 103-85. Trailblazers. Steve Smith with 19 points. Rasheed Wallace had 8 rebounds. Then you had Karl Malone with 15 points. John Stockton with 6 assists. Game number 3, 103-84. Karl Malone had a double-double, 28 points, 11 rebounds. John Stockton threw in 12 assists. Arvydas Sabonis, 22 points, 8 rebounds. Scottie Pippen had 7 assists in that game. So it's 3-0, Game 4 in Utah, and Utah staves them off. Utah wins 88-85. Karl Malone, 27 points. John Stockton, 9 assists. Brian Grant led the Trailblazers, 20 points, 13 rebounds in the losing effort, getting a good double-double there. But then game number 5, back in Portland, Scottie Pippen, game-winning 3 with 7.3 seconds left. This is actually Jeff Hornacek's final NBA game. They were down 79-78. Scottie Pippen hits the 3. They win 81-79. Back there in Oregon, Pippen had 23 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, so very shy of a triple-double. Karl Malone did have a double-double, 27 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists. So, and I said we were gonna do the breakdown. Knicks and Heat. So get this. Miami Heat wins game 1 by 4 points. Miami Heat lose game 2 by 6 points. So it's currently +2 to New York. Game 3, the Heat win by 1, so it's +1 New York. Game 4, the Knicks win by 8, so it's +9 New York. Game 5, the Heat win by 6, so it's +3 New York. Then New York wins by 2 in game number 6, so it's +5, and they win by 1. The plus-minus for the Knicks and Heat 7-game series was 6 points. 6 points for a 7-game series. Have NBA analytics figure that one out. That was how good that series was. That was how good that basketball was. That was arguably the best series of the entire playoffs this year. That series alone, with the emotion, the players, the rivalry, it encompassed everything. That was the series. Now, it wasn't the one that got all the press. The one that got most of the press is going to be the Lakers and the Blazers, which went 7. But the Knicks and Pacers went 6. Indiana's going to win this series 4-2. Opening game, Pacers win 102-88. Crozier actually led the team with 22 points. Davis with 16 boards. Jackson with 13 assists. Sprewell would lead the Knicks with 22 points. Game number 2, 88-84. Pacers win. Rose with 24. Davis with 16. Jackson had 5 assists. Larry Johnson led the Knickerbockers with 25 points. Now, game number 3, the Knicks win in New York, 98-95. Latrell Sprewell, 32 points, really put them on his back. 8 rebounds. Charlie Ward, 9 assists. Jalen Rose had 6 assists. Dale Davis had 16 rebounds. There are many times where I miss that guy. Man, I miss him. All right, game number 4. The Knicks win 91-89. 91-89. Larry Johnson, 25 points. Camby, 8 rebounds. Ward, 7 assists. Miller had 24 points. Davis, 11 boards. And Mark Jackson, 7 assists. So we are 2-2. The series is tied 2-2, looking like it's going to go to a 7-game series. Who's going to take control in game number 5? That was Indiana. Indiana wins 88-79. Travis Best with 24 points, McKee with 9 rebounds, Jackson with 7 assists. Allen Houston led the Knicks with 25 points. 4 players had 7 rebounds, but they didn't pass the ball because the highest assist total was 1 by 3 players. Just saying. That may have contributed to why they lost. But nonetheless, it's 3-2. You're not dead. You're going back home. Madison Square Garden. Here we go. June 2nd, year 2000. Indiana Pacers over the New York Knicks, 93-80. This is the game. Reggie Miller scores 17 points in the fourth quarter. Gives the Pacers all the boost they need. He ends with 34 points. Davis had 16 rebounds. And then Latrell Sprewell tried. He had 32 points for the Knicks. Ewing had 12 rebounds, and that was Ewing's last game as a Knick. He would get dealt to the Supersonics during the offseason. It was an exciting series. But it went 6 games. It had all the drama as far as the games itself, but it really didn't match what the Heat series was. Now, the next one could have. The Portland Trail Blazers and the Los Angeles Lakers. This one matched the Heat and the Knicks. I still lean Heat Knicks, but this one was fun to watch. And this one you easily could say, just like the Heat, Portland should have won this one. So here we go. Game number 1. Lakers open it up 109-94. Shaquille O'Neal goes off. 41 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists. Trying to get a triple-double, for gosh sakes. Big game by O'Neal. Pippen gets a double-double. 19 points, 11 rebounds. Game number 2, Trailblazers came out and absolutely ran them out of the building in the third quarter, outscoring them by 20 in the third quarter. Rasheed Wallace, 29 points, 12 boards. Shaquille O'Neal, 23 points, 12 boards. Portland wins 106-77. Game number 3 in Oregon. Lakers win 93-91. Shaquille O'Neal, 26 points, 12 rebounds. Damian Stoudemire, Rasheed Wallace both had 19 points. Pippen had 9 rebounds, 6 assists. Here we go. So game 4, you're thinking, all right, Portland's going to bounce back. Nope. LA actually took a 3-1 series lead, 103-91. Shaquille O'Neal, 25 points, 11 boards. Rasheed Wallace went off in this game, 34 points, 13 rebounds. He did the best that he could. Absolutely did the best that he could in a losing effort, getting that double-double. So now your backs are against the wall, and you've got to win 3 straight. And it just doesn't happen. So Portland wins that game 5, 96-88. Rasheed Wallace and Scottie Pippen both had 22 points. Wallace gets a double-double with 10 rebounds. Shaquille O'Neal, 31 points, 21 rebounds. Like, good grief. Then in game number 6, they're in Oregon. They just went on the road. Now they got to come back to Oregon. They win again, 103-93. Steve Smith with 26 points. Arvydas Sabonis, 11 rebounds, 6 assists. Kobe Bryant led the points on the other side with 33, and O'Neal had 11 rebounds. This comes into game number 7. This is for the Portland Trailblazers. This will be like game 1 of the Knicks and Pacers series. This playoffs for them. This is the epitome. They are up by 16 points, 71 to 55. 71 to 55. Now think about this for a second. I'm going to give you the points afterwards. The final score was 89-84, which means from that point, 71-55, the Lakers scored 34 points and the Trailblazers scored 13. That was at the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth. In the fourth quarter, the Lakers outscored them 31-13. That hurt. That is what happened. This is the game you always see. It got sealed by Kobe Bryant's alley-oop dunk to Shaquille O'Neal at the rim, sealing the victory. 89-84, Kobe Bryant, 25 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, went off. Rasheed Wallace, 30 points. Scottie Pippen had 10 rebounds. And this may have contributed in the fourth quarter. Only 3 players had 3 assists. That was your top assist line. 3 assists. That could have contributed, especially late in the game. It was not good. Portland had hold of that game and let it absolutely slip. And they were sick to their stomach. The way that played out, the team after that, different things happened. Game number 3, Arvydas Sabonis, well-known shot is blocked by Kobe Bryant. Game number 7, Portland has them. They come back. They have the comeback from 3-1 down, sitting in their hand, and they let it slip. They let it slip. Scottie Pippen couldn't stop it. Steve Smith couldn't stop it. Wallace, Sabonis. It was a great series. To me, the Knicks and Heat were better, but this is 1B. That's 1A. This is 1B. And it leads you to the finals, which, for anybody in Indiana, we kind of want to forget. Because game number 4 is the game that really, really, really ticks us off. Really ticks us off. So, let's run through this, and then we'll be done with the Nostalgia Series for the 2000 NBA playoffs. The opening game showed Shaquille O'Neal could not be stopped. 43 points, 19 rebounds. The Lakers win 104-87. The highest point score for the Pacers was Mark Jackson with 18. It was not good. Game number 2, a little bit better. Lakers win 111-104. But Shaquille O'Neal, 40 points and 24 rebounds. But at least Jalen Rose had the leading scorers as 30 points instead of a measly 18. Now, game number 3, back here in Conseco Fieldhouse. Pacers win 191. Reggie goes off for 33 points. O'Neal also has 33 points and 13 rebounds, but it is now 2-1. Game number 4. This is the game that everybody in Indianapolis points to of why we lost this game, why we lost this series. The Indiana Pacers get the Lakers to overtime on their home floor. Not only that, Kobe Bryant got injured. And then in overtime, Shaquille O'Neal fouled out. This is like everybody in Indianapolis is like, we're singing, we're seeing gold, we're seeing cash fall from the sky. We think we are going to tie this series up 2-2. There's a problem. Kobe Bryant took over. And with 5.9 seconds left, Kobe Bryant followed up a shot by Brian Shaw that missed, that gave the Lakers a 3-point lead. And a game-winning three by Reggie bounced off the rim. So the Lakers win game 4, 120-118. And that game right there is what everybody in Indianapolis to this day points at for that series, going, that's when the Pacers lost the series. They get Shaq fouled out, finally. Kobe Bryant was injured, and then we couldn't stop him in overtime. That hurt. I still feel that pain. I remember watching him on our court do what we saw Reggie do so often. Now, it did make us mad because in the next game, we won 120-87, and it was not even close. We came out in the first quarter. We came out in the second quarter. We came out in the fourth quarter. We said, not a freaking chance are we going home. 3-2, leaving Indianapolis, going back to the Staples Center in LA. That game, Jalen Rose had 32 points, but Shaquille O'Neal still had a double-double, 35 points and 11 rebounds. And that led to game number 6 in LA, which was a really good game. The Pacers were actually up by 5 heading into the fourth quarter and got outscored 37-27 in the fourth quarter. Jalen Rose had 29 points, Dale Davis 14 boards, Mark Jackson 11 assists, Shaquille O'Neal 41 points and 12 rebounds. Shaquille O'Neal was a force. He was a force. He was dominant. He had one of the best playoffs you will probably ever see by a center ever again. I know Joker's impressive, and if they would have gone to the finals this year with the numbers he was having to put up this time, it would have looked a lot like this, and I understand that. But there was nothing that could stop Shaq. Nothing, nobody, that was it. And Game 6 was Rick Smith's final NBA game. We were hoping to send him out a champion, but just didn't end up happening. So, the 2000 NBA playoffs, the Los Angeles Lakers beat the Indiana Pacers to win the NBA Finals and capture another championship for that great franchise. It hurt in Indiana for a long time. Especially the next couple years, watching the Lakers do it again and again. It's what it was. But it was fun basketball to watch. This two-part has actually given me an idea of something I'm going to do. I don't do many lists on here. I try to avoid doing a bunch of lists because everybody does lists. It's like one of those cheap ways of getting, getting views, getting this, getting that. But I want to go back, and the list isn't necessarily going to be focused on, it's not 100% just a list of top 10, but I want to go back and look at some of the players. Some players we forget played vital roles on teams. Some players that we forget that without them, the teams don't win. Teams don't win the championship. We went through, go back and watch Nostalgia Series Part 1 of the 2000 NBA playoffs. Gary Payton was just a freak. This little point guard averaging double-double after double-double and getting triple-doubles. The glove was one heck of a player. Shaquille O'Neal, 43 points, 21 rebounds. Good gosh. There were some dominant players. Michael Jordan dominated with the points most of the time. You forget that there were other players that really just took control of games. So I think what's been born out of this is I'm going to do a going to end up doing a top list of the 90s decade players. And then I'll probably get one to the 2000s. But just going back and giving recognition to those players, not necessarily just a top 10 list, but 10 players that I really just, at each position, want to bring up. Steve Smith. I mean, Steve Smith played in Atlanta, and then he goes out and he plays in Portland. Steve Smith was a really solid. I'm not going to put him at great. That's too high. He was a really, really solid shooting guard. Anybody would have loved to have Steve Smith. And that'll be what we do. But that'll be for another time. That is the end of the 2000 NBA Playoffs Nostalgia Series. I hope you guys enjoyed going back down memory lane. Every once in a while, it's a lot of fun. These NBA playoffs have reminded me a little bit as far as the physicality in some of the series, others not so much, just like here. But a lot of the physicality, the games, how close everything's been, it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, like the podcast, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. And until that time, for Sports Talk with Hawk, I am Hawk, and make it the best day you can. I'm out. See you later.